The American housing market is completely frozen. Its core information architecture has failed. The basic laws of supply and demand rely on honest price signals, and right now, those signals are shattered. The first broken signal is on the supply side, creating a rate lock. Millions of homeowners refinanced or bought between 2019 and 2022 at around a 3% interest rate. Selling today means taking on a 7% mortgage, which mathematically doubles their monthly payment for the exact same amount of house. The second broken signal locks the demand side, causing a payment block. A household earning $72,000 a year at a 3% rate qualifies for roughly a $340,000 home. At current 7% rates, that exact same income only qualifies for about $230,000. That is a $110,000 drop in purchasing power, without a single change to the buyer's actual income. This chart shows the amortization clock. The fixed monthly payment remains flat against rising market rent, while equity growth accelerates upward. This compounding cost of leaving effectively traps the 2020 to 2022 buyer cohort until roughly 2029 to 2031. With sellers unwilling to list and typical buyers unable to qualify, organic transaction volume has flatlined. The only people still buying are all-cash investors or highly desperate buyers willing to waive every standard financial protection to secure a home. The market is trapped in a mathematical hostage situation. Without normal transaction volume, there are no arm's-length sales happening at rational prices to create an honest record of what a house should actually cost. From the late 1990s through 2005, the United States saw the largest sustained residential construction boom in its history, producing roughly 2 million housing starts annually at its peak. Those millions of homes are now 20 to 30 years old, triggering a mechanical inevitability known as the deferred maintenance wave. Almost every major component in a house, asphalt shingle roofs, builder-grade windows, and HVAC systems, has a useful life of about 2 to 3 decades. All of these systems in the boom-era housing stock are hitting their replacement threshold simultaneously. Because inventory is so incredibly thin, sellers have no incentive to fix anything before listing. Desperate buyers stretch their financial qualifications to the absolute limit and waive standard inspections and appraisals to get their offer accepted. The buyers move in, and the aging systems inevitably fail. Because they stretch to buy the house, they lack cash reserves and take out high-interest personal loans to cover the repairs. Within 5 years, they owe more in repair debt than they have built in equity. These desperate transactions on broken homes become the official comparable sales, or comps, for the entire neighborhood. Every waived appraisal and subsequent overbid becomes the new floor for the next home sold on that street. The comparable sales record permanently detaches from what local incomes can sustain, replacing rational pricing with the cost of desperation. The widely accepted solution to this freeze is that relief will arrive as soon as the Federal Reserve lowers interest rates. When rates drop, rate-locked sellers do not list their homes all at once. They trickle onto the market slowly as individual life circumstances change. Sidelined buyers, however, all flood back into the market on the exact same day. This flowchart illustrates the mechanics of a 100 basis point rate drop without structural intervention. 2.3 million sidelined households instantly requalify for mortgages. They pour into a constricted inventory funnel of just 45 to 60 days of supply, triggering an immediate pressure spike that drives prices up 12 to 18%. Pent-up demand releases into a market with nothing to sell. Bidding wars instantly return. The working families who were supposed to benefit from the lower interest rates are outbid by cash buyers and institutional investors who move faster. The National Neighborhood Price Stabilization Protocol, or NPSP 2.0, provides a mechanical countermeasure called the Rate Trigger Protocol. Under this framework, a municipality maintains a standing buffer of new homes in 3 states at all times: Tier 1, finished and move-in ready; Tier 2, framed and weathered in; Tier 3, shovel-ready with permits pulled. The protocol fires automatically. If 30-year fixed mortgage rates drop 75 basis points while local inventory is below 45 days of supply, the Tier 1 homes release to the public immediately. There is no new council vote and no political delay. Firm. Lowering rates without a pre-positioned, automatically releasing inventory buffer guarantees a massive demand shock that drives prices permanently out of reach. NPSP 2.0 utilizes new construction in legacy neighborhoods to restore price signals. In a healthy market, new construction provides a rational price ceiling. A buyer will not pay more for a 25-year-old home with failing systems than it costs to build a brand new equivalent across the street. New construction makes replacement cost visible. To enforce this ceiling, the program uses a clean comp strategy built around this condition-indexed pricing matrix. This table establishes pre-agreed appraisal adjustments for specific deferred maintenance items, deducting precise values for an aging roof, an old HVAC system, or original windows. Local appraisers use the brand new NPSP home as the honest baseline comp. When evaluating an older home down the block, they apply the matrix discounts, mathematically forcing down the inflated valuation of the aging, unrenovated property. Municipalities execute this by acquiring tax-delinquent parcels through local land banks, locking in the initial land cost at nominal rates before a shovel hits the dirt. Because land costs are controlled, the required public subsidy is limited to a small appraisal gap in the first year. As the new comps stabilize the neighborhood's recorded values, that gap disappears entirely by year 3, making the program self-sustaining. These physical houses generate an honest price ceiling that protects the whole zip code. This entire mechanism fails if institutional investors or speculative house flippers acquire the NSPSP homes. If the inventory is swallowed by capital firms, the price anchor disappears and the public subsidy is wasted. This diagram illustrates structural anti-speculation. Rather than relying on a municipal complaint department, NSPSP embeds 5 layers of enforcement directly into the property deed and the transaction itself. Layer 1 is a strict ban on LLC or corporate entity purchases executed at closing. Layer 2 attaches a mandatory 7-year owner-occupancy covenant to the title, verified annually through homestead exemption records. Layers 3 and 4 restrict the resale price for the first 5 years and grant the municipality the right of first refusal. This is enforced automatically through an anti-flip registry that flags the county recorder the moment a transfer is attempted. Layer 5 is the rental clawback provision. If an owner attempts to convert the home into a rental property during the covenant period, they forfeit a prorated portion of the subsidy, plus a 15% penalty, enforced through a recorded lien. This structural stack permanently separates the neighborhood's new housing stock from speculative capital, guaranteeing that the homes only serve end-user families. Beyond the financial modeling, neighborhoods operate as delicate ecosystems. The ecosystem rule states that introducing a foreign, out-of-scale element into a legacy block signals to existing residents that their neighborhood's identity is being erased. That visual friction accelerates the departure of the original residents, creating the exact vacancy the program was meant to reverse. Every municipality must develop a pattern book of pre-approved plans. These mandate strict square footage caps and require front porches of at least 48 inches, and force builders to match the dominant roof pitch of the existing block within a very tight tolerance. The framework outright bans materials that read as out of place, like premium quartz countertops in entry-level markets or stucco exteriors in freeze-thaw Midwest climates. These are operational requirements designed to ensure the new home reads as a natural continuation of the block, rather than an intrusion into it. Architectural compatibility acts as the primary mechanism by which NSPSP 2.0 stabilizes a neighborhood without triggering gentrification-driven displacement. The defining flaw of traditional housing programs is that they rely on permanent public subsidy. They have no mechanical definition of when the job is actually done. This dashboard tracks the graduation checklist. NPSP exits when 6 conditions are met. It triggers when vacant parcels drop below 3% and investor presence falls below 18%. Requires private builders building without subsidy and 3 years of 2 to 5% price growth. Once these metrics are hit and confirmed by an independent auditor, the program ceases construction. The remaining balance in the revolving fund is packed up and legally redeployed to target the next distressed neighborhood. Even after the program vacates the area, the deed restrictions and covenants remain permanently attached to the NPSP-built homes to protect the block's long-term future. Rebuilding the infrastructure of honest market signals eliminates the need for permanent housing subsidies.